Welcome to another bite-sized marketing training. Today we're going to be talking about inspiring personal accountability. This is part one of a four-part training series, and its main goal is to encourage you to create an environment that fosters personal accountability throughout your organization. The key topics include what is personal accountability and what does that mean for your organization. We'll talk about laying the foundation. The first thing you need to do to actually get buy-in from the people who are responsible for the success of your organization. And then we'll get into the 3 steps to setting clear expectations for your people, but also for yourself. And we talk about the nurturing the personal accountability process and system so that it's an ongoing effort and that you reach continual success moving forward. Next is the visionary leadership. And this one is near and dear to my heart because I personally feel that each and every council is a visionary leader. You are the people who sees the big picture, and you guide your team towards that beautiful vision every single day. Last but not least, we'll talk about the biggest impact you can make with personal accountability. And I do have a little bit of homework for you, but I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Heather Schuck says, taking personal accountability is a beautiful thing because it gives us complete control of our destinies. I think she is 100% bang on with this. I know for myself, when I adopt the mindset or the habit of being personally accountable for everything that I do with my work, even in my personal life, things just seem to run more smoothly. At the end of the day, I feel more accomplished. I feel more satisfied. I'm getting things done. It just, when there's a system and a process in place to set your goals, reach your goals, and just attain some success, life is just that much better. But I have to be honest, it hasn't always been that way. I sometimes still at times, I feel a little bit overwhelmed. And that happens when I sort of fall off the wagon. So what I want to encourage you to do is actually, leave some room for making mistakes as you begin this process. But open your mind and your heart to the possibility that this may be something that's going to help you move your organization forward, and it will create the foundation for much success in the future. So, what is personal accountability? And what does that mean for your organization? First and foremost, it's a personal choice. You have the right to choose whether to adopt this process, this attitude, this mindset within your organization or not. It's entirely up to you. You can actually take the process and tweak it to suit your own needs too. Nothing is written in stone, but it definitely is a personal choice whether you move forward with this or not. It's an attitude that manifests in actions to outcomes, good and bad. So when we're talking about good, we're actually talking about all of the successes, everything that we plan out, events that we do for fundraising, and they work out really, really, really well. And then you have the things that are not so good. When you may plan a campaign or you may have a project underway and things are not panning out the way you expected, and that's okay. So adopting this type of attitude totally ignores the "it's not my job" and embraces the we are responsible for this. So this reminds me of a time when I had my business in a location downtown Moncton, and we had a college student who was doing her practicum. So she came to work with our business for, I think it was about 2 weeks. And one day our secretary was out, so I asked her if she could do some filing and answer the phone. And so she did, reluctantly. Later that day, she walked into my office and she said, "You know what, Susan, I can't do this. I went to college to do marketing, not to do filing and answer the phone." And so this was a learning opportunity for both she and I, where I explained to her, listen, as the owner of the business, I sometimes answer the phone and I do filing along with marketing and all of the fun stuff that comes with running this business. And so at the end of the day, why I'm basically sharing this experience with you is because everyone on your team must be personally accountable for the success of your organization. You cannot do this by yourself. It's a team effort. So how do you go about laying the foundation? So from the big boss to the admin staff, like I just mentioned, every single person who is responsible for the success of your organization must adopt this process or a similar type process. So personal accountability starts with taking a good look in the mirror. So basically take a look in the mirror or take a step back and just see, or give yourself a rating. There's a good idea. Give yourself a rating from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, on how you hold yourself accountable for the things that you say you're going to do or your goals that you achieve, and so on and so forth. So to initiate or encourage an environment that fosters personal accountability, you must be accountable, 100% accountable for your own actions and results, good and bad. And again, like I mentioned earlier, it will take time. It's practice. The more you do it, the more you get used to it. And if there's a process and a system in place, it's something that you're going to continue doing for a very long time. I know that when I'm at the top of my game, it's because I do the personal accountable process and system. I adopt it within my life, within my business, and things just seem to go much better. But allow yourself to sort of fall off the wagon and get right back on it. So here are the 3 steps to setting clear expectations for your people, but also for yourself. So laying the foundation, you first start by taking a look at the mirror and sort of giving yourself an evaluation on how you hold yourself accountable for reaching your goals and setting your goals and reaching your goals. So the next thing you want to do is establish a direct connection. You'll get more buy-in from your people who feel they are actually helping the organization succeed. And what I mean by establishing that direct connection, I mean they need to know what that vision is. They need to know the why for the organization. Why does your organization exist? Why does it, what does it accomplish? What problem does it solve? And when your people actually feel that sense of belonging, or when they understand the vision, the goals, and they're part of the process, they will establish that connection that will make them feel like they're part of something bigger than words can express. Now, the next thing we'll talk about is the setting SMART goals. And some of you have probably heard this before. This is a process that has existed for many, many years. But it's the easiest way to provide your people with a sense of direction, motivation, and clear focus. Setting those goals, making sure they're SMART, they're measurable, they're attainable, they relate, and they're timely, is so important. So this is a really good system, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. Last but not least, we define the results that you expect. So letting your people know exactly what you expect from specific goals, be it that they're creating an event or working on an event, organizing everything for the event, every single goal must have a result attached to it. And you as the leader or the manager, you must relay what those expectations are, what you expect the results to be. And then let your people run with it. Doing this will increase their motivation and sense of responsibility. Now, another example, I've had, many supervisors in the past. I used to work with a provincial government. One person that I think about she was my superior. Her name was Nancy. She was an amazing person, and she really let me take the reins of my position and do with it as I pleased. We had regular meetings, and I really enjoyed working with her because she let me basically run my position the way I saw fit. And because she did that, because she trusted me, I was held personally accountable. Myself, I was able to do it. And Carol works much the same way. She's the executive director. We check in with each other on a daily basis. We meet. We used to meet every 2 weeks and kind of go over our goals and what we're accomplishing and just kind of keep each other on tap. And if I ever have any questions or need any help, she's always there to help me out. But the best part of this is that she lets me run with this position too. And she lets me run with setting my goals and making sure that she's always there. But she does relay what the type of results that she expects as well, and we work towards those goals together. So that's really important. So number 1, establish a direct connection. How do you do that? The first thing is to give your people a voice and a vote. People who feel that their opinions are valued and more likely to feel invested in your organization and motivated to work harder. We have this thing going on nowadays in the last couple of years where we say we don't work harder, we work smarter. But at the end of the day, when your people enjoy what they do, when they feel that connection, when they feel that they have a voice and a vote of everything that happens within the organization and the council, they're just going to work that much harder, and it's going to come naturally. Number 2, be transparent. Keep everyone informed as much as possible. So when your people know how things are going, good or bad, they can feel the impact and contribution they are making. So an example for this, back when I had my local office and we were 6 people in the office, I always made it a point for them to know. We were a small office too, much like your council. So it was easy for them to be sort of in on everything that was going on, mostly everything. But I made it a point to share all of the successes, made sure to celebrate the successes they were having within their positions. But also, if, for instance, a big project was coming our way and all of a sudden it didn't come, I shared that with my staff. So we were more like a family. And I think that's really important. So being transparent as much as you can. Obviously you can't say everything. But the more transparent you are, the more your people are going to feel part of your family, part of your vision. Sorry about that. There. Number 3, recognize and acknowledge success, big or small. Just kind of like I mentioned, and this is the best way to boost team morale or your people's morale. It's great to do something for your entire team, like catering a lunch or bringing in donuts, but it doesn't always have to be monetary value. It can be just, taking someone aside and saying, hey, listen, I really, really appreciate everything that you do. And, if you're talking to one of your volunteer tutors, our learners are really enjoying working with you. And we appreciate that because you're helping us, bring out this vision and making a really big difference within our community. Thank you for that. even just a small thank you. And I'm going to give a shout out here to Val and to Allison and to Pat. And, every single one of you are really good at doing that for Carol and I. And we don't necessarily look for it, but it's a natural thing for you guys to already do that. So it's just bears repeating. It's important to mention, and it's part of the process of establishing that direct connection to recognize and acknowledge all the successes, no matter how big or small they may be. Last but not least in this one is the make it personal. When you make a personal connection by encouraging your people to get to know each other better, you show that you care about them on a human level. So that human connection is so important. And it's that one, it's the part that actually brings you or ties you in as sort of like a family. People getting to know each other on a personal level, connecting with each other on Facebook, asking questions and talking about their positions and what they're doing and so on. And we have the up and coming Tutor Connection Facebook group, which is going to be really, really awesome once we unfold this and get all of the tutors across the province in on this private group. They're going to be connected. They're going to feel like they're part of something. They're part of a bigger vision. And when they have some issues or they need some resources or they want to share a success, they're going to be able to do that in that group. And together we're going to grow that group through, maybe doing some coffee times and everyone will have a stake in this group so that we're making them feel like they're part of something bigger than words can express. So just making it personal. Sometimes, we have to be professional. And even though this is a nonprofit type organization, it's still a business, but we do have to have that personal connection. I absolutely love when Carol and I have little chats here and there talking about our dogs and, about my kids or how crazy life can be and whatever the case is. It just solidifies that working relationship. Number 2 is the setting SMART goals. And so they need to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. And I have a worksheet for you as the homework, which will help you set some SMART goals. So being specific means being well-defined, clear, and unambiguous, not open to more than one interpretation. And so when you have a specific goal, for instance, if we take this 4-part training series, it has 4 parts. There will be about 30 minutes each with each training session. There will be a homework with each one of them. We'll have a question and answer period so that we can get in on this process. Everything is very specific with this goal. It's well defined, it's clear, and not open to more than one interpretation. Next, it has to be measurable. So with specific criteria that measures your progress toward the accomplishment of the goal. Now, how I measure this particular goal of executing the 4-part training is once the videos are completed, they're uploaded to the council portal. Then we'll be able to see how many people are watching the videos and downloading the cheat sheets and the homework, and then commenting and engaging with that. That's how I'm going to measure the success or the accomplishment of this goal. As well as in the next few months, we should see more interaction, encourage each other to reach our goals, setting our goals, all of that fun stuff throughout our council meetings too. So this is going to be measurable over time. Next is achievable. It's attainable and not impossible to achieve. So there's nothing standing in my way, especially now that I have a she shed. But there is absolutely nothing standing in my way to get this training completed for you. And so that makes it part of the SMART goal. Is it realistic? within reach and relevant to the purpose of the organization. 100%. When I look at this goal of creating the 4-part training series, I see a bigger picture. I see us interacting on a monthly basis. I see us being more engaged. I see us being more productive, helping each other out and reaching more goals throughout the next few months and years ahead. So it's definitely realistic, and it goes with the purpose of the organization because we want to succeed. We want to help as many learners as possible with their literacy goals. Is it timely? Clearly defined timeline, including a targeted end date. All right, now I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be real here. The target date for this actual project and this SMART goal was actually before Christmas. I wanted to get this started at the beginning of January, and that didn't happen. I could go into, my computer was outdated and very slow, and I was behind on everything, and I can make all the excuses in the world that I want. At the end of the day, I need to be honest with myself. I need to be real and say, I fell off the wagon. I need to get back on, and we're going to get this training completed before the end of January, and we're going to get moving forward with this process and system within the following months. So that's it. And again, it's okay. That happens. Life happens. We fall off the wagon. We get right back on it. We don't look at making excuses and trying to figure out whose fault it is and why we haven't accomplished something. If the goal makes sense, if it's a SMART goal, if it's relevant to the purpose of our organization, which this one really is, we'll get it done. I have a little video here from Brian Tracy, and he is going to actually explain a process on how you can solve the overwhelm issue sometimes when you have a lot of things on your plate.
For just $67, you can make as many videos as you want, and you never need to pick up a camera or use any...
Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and today I want to talk to you about how to maintain your willpower to achieve your goals. It's been said that success is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. If you want to achieve your goals, you must work hard, hard, hard. There are no exceptions. But no one pushes themselves that hard or perspires that much without strong motivation. Therefore, whether you plan to start a book or write a business plan or improve your health, you must first find the motivation to succeed, the motivation to carry through until you are 100% complete on your task. The following tips will help you stay motivated for the long haul, persevering and perspiring until you achieve your goals. First, focus on the positives. No one ever motivated themselves to achieve a goal they didn't care about. Thus, at the beginning of every endeavor, make a list of all the ways your goals will make a positive impact on your life and the life of others. If you start a new business, think about how that company will increasingly save time and money for customers. When writing a book, consider all the people who will read it and the lessons they'll draw from it and how they'll use those lessons to improve their lives and the world. And if you seek better health, imagine how you will be able to live longer, enjoy your life more, and do a better job of providing for and spending time with your family. Making a list of positive quotations will motivate you in two major ways. First, by improving your mood. They help you avoid the psychological and emotional factors that lead to procrastination. You're bound to get more work done when you feel good, especially if those positive feelings are tied to the work you're doing. The earlier and more often you think of positive outcomes, the more productive you'll be. Second, listing positives shows you the full stakes of success. It's easy enough to ignore your goals if you have a vague idea of why you set them, but when you consider specifically how your endeavors will improve your and other lives, you'll have a clear sense of why they are valuable. Thus, both for your sake and those of your loved ones. You will press forward no matter what happens. Next, list and organize your goals. No matter how positive you're feeling about your objectives, if you have a lot of them, it may still be hard to get started. Whenever you're feeling swamped by too many goals or too many responsibilities, make a list of all the different things you want to achieve and then organize the list. There's a good chance that many of your goals are closely related to each other, and that achieving one will bring you closer to accomplishing another. You can therefore combine the two into a single goal. This brings down the total number of things you need to achieve, making the list less daunting and easier to start on. Once you've fully consolidated the list, rank each goal by its order of importance. This lets you know which items you can work on first and which ones to save for later. You therefore won't feel overwhelmed by the need to accomplish so many things at once. After setting priorities, take a look at any goal that ranks near the bottom. Consider eliminating some of these goals, especially if they will not have as important as an impact as the others. This way, you can focus your time and energy on achieving the most important objectives as effectively as possible. Many people insist on having only 3 goals in any area of life, and they keep whittling them down until there's only 3 goals, and then they organize those goals in order of importance, which is most important, which is second most important, which is third, and then they start on number 1, and they work 100% of the time on number 1 until it's complete. The initial list doesn't have to be definitive, and you can always go back and change it over time. But having a list helps you to keep track of your objectives and to accomplish them systematically, one at a time. Finally, remember that motivation is never a purely personal matter. Even if the goals we mentioned are for you in particular, they will impact other people, so you should enlist those people to help you stay on task. Relatives want you to do well for your own sake, but they're likely to benefit if you become healthier, wealthier, or more successful. You should therefore let your closest family members know about what you're trying to accomplish and invite them to intervene, to give you ideas and advice if ever you get distracted. If your goals relate to your career, they will almost certainly impact your coworkers. Explain to them why they have a stake in your success and ask for their support and offer to help them or on their goals as well. Use your goals to become closer with your friends. If you're trying to be healthier, ask your friends to work out with you. Likewise, if you're starting a business, bring in friends with relevant experience as employees or consultants or just guides. This gets them by your side for the entire process. Peers provide a consistent, lasting source of motivation. As long as you trust them to look out for your best interests, they will push you and guide you toward accomplishing even your most difficult goals. Before we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with a thought to share with your friends and followers. The more reasons you have for achieving your goal, the more determined you will become. We say that reasons are the fuel in the furnace of achievement. The more reasons you have, the more this fuel will burn and the more motivated you will be. Now I'd like to hear from you, so my question today is this. What is the biggest single obstacle that stands between you and your most important goal right now? Leave a comment below and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you about achieving...
I love Brian Tracy. He's been around for a very, very long time. So let's do a little recap here. Maintaining willpower and achieving your SMART goals. So the first thing he advises is to focus on the positive. Think of the impact your particular task goals have on the organization. When we feel good about what we are doing or working on, we tend to get more done. That's so, so true. If for some reason, we're working on something and we don't necessarily feel it, we're not going to get into wanting to accomplish it or be able to accomplish it. I mean, not everything has to be roses either, but at the end of the day, we need to feel good about what the work that we're doing, and it has to be relatable to the organization's goals. Next is list and organize your goals. This is something that I absolutely love and I would do periodically. So a few times in the last year, I started feeling very, very overwhelmed. And what I would do is I would take just a regular sheet of paper and I would make a list of everything that I could think of. Everything that needs my attention, both professionally and personally. I would take it a step further and use different colored pens just so that I could say red is for personal, green is for work, whatever the case is. And then I would highlight. I would take out a highlighter and reorganize my goals in order of importance. So, a yellow would be needs my attention faster than the other goals. Whatever the case is, but making this list always made me feel better. And it's something that I advise my children as well, because sometimes they get overwhelmed at school. And I'll often say, listen, you're feeling overwhelmed. I get it. Just take a sheet of paper and do a brain dump. Write every single thing that's on your mind that needs to get done. Then review your list, organize it in order of importance, and then, do step number 3 and consider eliminating some of these items on the list. Because some of them, if they're not getting done, you need to basically take a look at them and reevaluate the importance of them. Are they still relevant? Is there a reason why I'm not achieving this goal or getting this task completed? Maybe it doesn't mean so much to me or the organization as much as I thought it did. And so maybe we need to put that one aside. Sometimes as you prioritize the items on your list, you may find that some of them can be grouped together to turn into one instead of 3 goals, maybe a 3-part, but it has the same idea, it's part of the same family. We'll put it that way. And so that's basically what I got from Brian Tracy's video. I would love to hear what you got from it. So please go into our private group, gosh, I forget the name now already. Go into our private group and make a comment. What stood out for you in Brian Tracy's video? All right, we're on to number 3, step number 3. So if we kind of go back and recap, step number 1 was to establish a direct connection. You give your people a voice and a vote. You be transparent, keep everyone informed as much as possible. You recognize and acknowledge success, big or small, for every single person on your team and yourself. Don't forget you within this process. Make it personal. Let them know who you are personally and give them a chance to get to know each other. Build those relationships. Number 2, set the SMART goals. Make sure your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. I have some homework for you on that as well. Maintaining willpower in achieving your SMART goals. Follow these 3 steps. This is what I would recommend you do before actually even doing the worksheet that I have for you. Number 3 is define the results you expect. This is the last step, and it is so important. They're all important, but if you define the results that you expect, you're going to start seeing, you'll be reaching more success even sooner. So number 1, clearly articulate the result. Do this on paper first. If you cannot clearly articulate the results you wish to achieve, you're not ready for that conversation with your team. So make sure you set the goals and you're able to say, okay, we want you to do this task. Here's why. Here's what we expect the results to be. We may not attain them. We're aware of that, and that's okay. But let's do our best to reach these results because this is what we expect, and this is for the purpose of the organization. Number 2, think about where the gaps may be. Are they in the work? How will you communicate the goals? Will you do this through a meeting? Will you make a list and send it through email? What is the timing? How long do they have to reach this particular goal or to complete this particular task? What are the impacts on the organization's culture? So think about everything. This may even go along the lines of, the skills of your team. Maybe a particular task would be better for team, maybe Sally or Joanne. Everyone has their own specific skill level, and sometimes they couldn't work together to get things done. But just take a look at where the gaps may be, because there always are gaps. Help your people. Number 3, help your people understand the big picture. And this is something we're even on a provincial basis, we're actually working on at the moment with our strategic planning, is revisiting what the big picture is. And when we're able to articulate what the big picture is, and in your case with your council, it would be, what is the big picture for your community? What is the purpose of your council? So when your people understand where you're heading, why you exist, the problem that you solve, why it means so much to you, your people will commit more easily if they not only see the big picture, but can feel the impact. Number 4, make it mutual. The conversation about expectation needs to be a true conversation, so that both of you understand each other's expectations and so that you can move towards an agreement and commitment. So it's as important. If you're asking someone to do something for you, a specific task or attain a specific goal, or you're working on a specific fundraising event, make it mutually important to both of you, to everyone concerned. It's only when you take responsibility for your life that you discover how powerful you truly are. So again, Elena Hunt, I love these quotes because they come from the heart. And I think this one is also bang on. So I know for myself, when I'm reaching my goals, when I'm making my list for the week or for the day, and I'm checking things off in my agenda and putting it into my tracker, I feel so awesome. There's a power that comes with that. So I'm going to be providing you with a digital tool which you can use on your computer, but I also recommend that if you have an agenda and you write it down, there's so much power in actually putting that check mark done on a specific task or whatever the case is. There's just that much, you just feel that much better and more powerful and ready to move forward onto the next task. Next is nurturing personal accountability. So how do we go about nurturing personal accountability within our organization and with our people? So people want to feel that they are part of the bigger picture. And this is something that keeps coming back and will always be coming back, because we don't only want our admin staff to feel like they're part of the bigger picture. We want our tutors to feel like they're part of a bigger picture. Our learners are part of a bigger picture. I mean, when the learners are coming and they're reaching their goals, they're actually helping us project our purpose into the community, into the province. And more people are going to learn about those success stories. And so the picture is so huge. It's just so huge. Even your board members are part of this bigger picture. And when they feel like they're part of it, they just want to do more. So when they truly feel connected to the organization's growth, they will make better decisions because they know that what they do matters. Now, this is really big. If they feel that what they're actually doing really does matter, they're going to feel that connection even more. They're going to want to get more done. just naturally. Next, people are more engaged to reach their goals if they help establish them and aren't just handed a list of items to execute. Now, I've had some superiors in the past too who would say, here's what we want you to get done. Just get it done and move on. Let us know when it's done, whatever the case is. So in one respect, you might be able to look at that and say, hey, they're giving me a list of tasks to do and they're letting me run with it, which is good, but I don't feel connected to the list, to the tasks. I don't really know what their purpose is. What is the end result? What impact is it going to have on the business or the organization? If I don't feel that, I'm not going to be motivated to work really hard to get these things done. I'll get them done because ethically it's the right thing to do. But am I going to feel connected? Am I going to be happy? Is it going to provide that balance that I need in my work? Probably not. Leaders can engage their people by effectively delegating responsibilities, coaching them to succeed, and letting them run with it. Again, we're letting them run with it, but we're actually giving them some coaching. So here's another example that I have. My son was 16 years old. It was his very first job. And, basically all he had to do was fix the cans on the shelves. And what happened was he ended up losing his job. And I was like, what? How can you basically screw up fixing or aligning the cans and turning the cans around? And he's like, Mom, I have no idea. I'm there early. I do my work when I'm there. I said, are you on your phone? Are you talking too much to other people? What is it? There has to be something. And so I ended up calling the manager because I said, you know what? This is my son's first job. And I said, I need to know, is he on his phone when he's supposed to be working? Is he not doing his job? What is the problem? And the superior wasn't able to tell me. And eventually what happened is that manager actually lost his job because he wasn't taking care of his employees, his staff. He wasn't coaching them. So although this job was very easy and all he had to do was kind of turn the cans and make them look presentable on the shelves, he still needed some kind of guidance, some kind of coaching. And his manager just wasn't there for him. And so there were 3 of him and 2 others that actually lost their jobs, and it was their first job. So needless to say, this is something that hurt him at the beginning. He's okay now and doing really well. But at the end of the day, it was his manager's responsibility to coach him to succeed no matter how big or small the task or the job is. And so that's just a little example to nurturing the personal accountability process. Just be there for your people. And I know you know that already. So this one here, again, is near and dear to my heart, visionary leader. And this is how I see each and every council. So a person who has a clear idea of how the future should look. I know this from our council meetings every single month. We know, we have a clear idea on how the future should look. We want a province full of adults who are literate, who are confident, who are getting jobs, who are moving forward with their lives, and they're reaching their literacy goals more and more. So a person who sets out concrete steps to bring that vision to life. We're going to be working on this even more as we move forward. We're going to clarify exactly what that vision looks like. We're going to be sharing stories from our learners, stories from our tutors, and just moving forward in that way. And that's part of being a visionary leader. It's also a person who leads a team of people in that direction. So this process that I'm sharing with you guys, I know there's the 4-part training. And it's going to take a little bit of time to go through the training, to learn the process, to practice the process, and put a system in place in your organization. But when you do, you will see that leading your people in a specific direction is going to be that much easier. And you're going to feel even more confident, and things are just going to unfold from there. So the biggest impact that you can make: become an accountability model. You create an accountability culture by influencing others with your own actions. So again, like we said earlier, take a look in the mirror or give yourself a rating or review how you hold yourself accountable on a daily basis. Improve your own process, and your people will begin to see that. They'll look at you as a model, and they're going to want to adopt some of that within their own roles. Get curious, not angry. When someone on your team fails to perform, look deeper for a reason. So this is an important step as well. Things don't always go as planned, and we know that. There will be times when we will fall down, but we get back up. And instead of getting angry, playing the blame game because everybody does it, it's human nature to do it, actually. Try to be curious instead of getting angry. And just kind of look deeper to see what's happening in that person's life for her not being able to reach certain goals, or be able to give more time to tutoring, or whatever the case is. How about when one of your learners is not going on learning upgrade, or isn't actually performing in their learning? They're not moving forward. Get curious about that. Don't be upset, because everybody has a story, everybody has a background, and when you're curious, you're going to start building that relationship with them, and things will definitely turn around from there. Last, know that failure is possible. Encourage your people to take risks, and you will see more results sooner rather than later. So again, it's important to note that we all know that failure does happen. It's possible. It's part of the game. So encourage your people to take the risk, to just move forward, to run with it, do the best that they can, and whatever happens, we'll take care of it in the end. That's just the way that it works. So where do you stand when it comes to personal accountability? There are two aspects here. So we can be the victim, or be the person who is accountable. So the victim blames others, has personal excuses, my family did this, or whatever the case is. Wait and hope that things are just going to get better, and we'll get there somehow. We're we're the victim. Or are you accountable? You acknowledge reality. You own it. You find solutions. Personally, I think each and every council is definitely accountable. And this process, I'm very excited to share it with you, because it is going to we're going to move mountains together. So adopting a personal accountability attitude gives you and your organization the power to make meaningful changes. And that's it for this first training. I'm not sure if I went way over 30 minutes. If I did, I do apologize for that. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to send me an email, give me a call, post it in our private group, and I will see you in the next training.